Good morning everyone. Welcome to Tathastu ICS. I hope you all are doing good. My name is Pooja Sharma and I am your current affairs faculty. So today I am going to take your DNA session. So this is the front page of your Hindu newspaper. Okay, not very important news on your front half page, upper page. This is the QR code through which you can access the PDFs of this file. Okay, so go through that. So let's start today's discussion. So these are the new courses that are starting at Tathastu ICS. If you can go through these right now. So these are the news we are going to cover today. Okay, good morning everyone who are online. Okay, good morning. So these are the news which we are going to cover today. Okay, out of these first two are editorials, and the third one is a news on your economy page. So the first article is related to Trump's return. It's about how the Trump 2.0 means second term of Donald Trump, and how the Trump's return is going to impact the South Asia in particular. So this article is also talking about how the Trump's regime is going to affect India. Okay, first, after that, how it is going to impact the South Asia in general. South Asia means all the countries which are the neighboring countries of India also. Okay, how the Trump's return is finally going to impact globally, and globally it means how the global impact is again going to impact the South Asia, right? So this article has been written with a very positive approach. Otherwise, whenever we see an article related to the second regime of Donald Trump, we always see that the articles are a bit critical about his return, but this article is in a positive aspect, so we are going to cover that also. The second article is the wounding the spirit of Constitution of India. So it is related to the recent comments of a justice of Allahabad High Court in an event organized by Vishwa Hindu Parishad. So such kind of comments which actually supports a majority population of India are being criticized all over the India. Even the impeachment motion, they are talking about impeaching the judge of that high court also. So we are going to cover that also. What were the remarks, why we need to respond on such kind of remarks, what is the duty of the high court here, what is the duty of the constitution maker, the people who are sitting in our parliament, and what is the duty of people when such kind of remarks we see in our society. So again, it is not very good for the society, because such kind of remarks actually create hatred between the community, and it actually sway away us from the peace which we are getting at a societal level. The third news is related to very important, very small news. The center's consistency to high capex. Okay, this has been done by finance minister. So what is the capex? It's a capital expenditure they are talking about. So I am going to cover the basics of capital expenditure also, and I will tell you why capital expenditure is very necessary for a country's developmental process. And it is good that the center is increasing the capex. Actually, in 2021. India's capital expenditure was 5 lakh crore, but now it has reached to 11.11 lakh crores, which is a good increment in the capital expenditure, right? So we are going to cover these three news. Let's start with the first one, Trump's return and the South Asia outlook. Basically, what is going to be the impact of the Trump's second regime on the nation of South Asia, right? India is one of the countries of South Asia. Other countries you can say that, but how it is going to impact Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Myanmar individually, Pakistan, Afghanistan as well, and holistically also how the Trump's policies are going to impact the South Asia. Why South Asia is important for us? Because we are one of the biggest country of South Asia, and whatever is going on in South Asia on international level is going to impact the India also. That's why South Asia is very important for us, and America's reaction, America's approach towards South Asia is also very important for us, right? So let's start our first article. So this is our first article. Let's understand the context here. The context is related to the now Donald Trump is going to become the 47th president of USA, and with this presidentship Okay, this has actually triggered curiosity as well as apprehensions. It means we actually don't know, is it going to be there in a positive aspect or not. There are so many things which can be seen in a positive aspect, but along with that, given the nature of the earlier regime of the Donald Trump, there are some apprehensions regarding that also. So we read so many articles which are related to the apprehensions, but this article basically talk about the curiosity, or you can say that the positive aspects of Trump's regime 2.0. Regime 2.0 means the second inning of Donald Trump. Donald Trump was the president of USA before Joe Biden also, right? So this is the second inning for Trump, and how, let's see how has the Trump as a politician improved with time. Is he going to deal with the international affair more maturely or not? This is we need to see in the future also. However, there are so many apprehensions, but the writer is saying that in South Asia it is likely to represent continuity in the US foreign policy. What is the meaning of continuity in the US foreign policy? Because means the kind of foreign policy USA was having earlier, okay, before the time of Joe Biden, or before the timing of the Trump 1.0, it means the first regime of Trump's 1.0. Since 2000 we are having a close relationship, India in general having a close relationship with USA. And the article is saying that that relationship which we started, okay, the good relationship we started from the 2000s is going to continue in the next 5 years as well, right? So this article is all about that. So let's say what article is actually saying. So first of all, article is going to tell us about how the US and India's relationship is going to be there, okay. So where are going to be some positive aspect and what are the challenges related to that. Then the article is going to talk about how it is going to impact the South Asian nations, and then there will be a talk about the China factor also, and after that there will be a talk about the global implication of Trump's second regime at international level, right? So let's start first. What are the US-India relations, and what are the strength of it, and what are the challenges related to it? Okay, now these strength and challenges are very contemporary strength and challenges we are going to talk about. We are not going to talk about the historical aspect of India-US relation. Here we are only going to talk about what are the recent strengths and recent challenges that the relationship between USA and India are facing right now. So first of all, we know that right now the relation is based on the shared vision of regional stability and value-based order when it comes to USA, right? What is the meaning of regional stability here? Look, we all know that USA from last one and a half decade is very much invested in Pacific Ocean, okay, the Pacific Ocean country. India and Southeast Asia is also part of that. So India is very important for USA because USA want to counter China also in this region only. And India's presence as a neighbor, as a big neighbor of China, has played a major role. So USA always want a stability in this region so that the China does not take advantage of any kind of instability which is going on this region. The second is the value-based order. We know that sometimes USA act like a big brother to all of the country. Whenever there is some wrong is going on, for example, we have seen in the crisis of the West Asia, in the many of the countries of West Asia, USA was so much invested on those countries in the name of countering the terrorism. So USA always think that they are following a value-based order. In India also they criticize India's humanitarian policies and the kind of democracies we are having. So USA always criticize India on that. So that's why they say that our foreign policy with India is based on, first, this is the positive thing, regional stability, and the second is value-based order. If there is some distortion in India's democracy, then USA is going to talk about that, right? So this is the partnership goal for India, right, which is going on since 2000s. Now again in 2000s, so we have started the relation. This relation has improved because we had this very important nuclear deal with USA, if you remember that, in 2000. Then USA actually labeled India as a net security provider in 2009. So these are kind of milestone in India-US relationship. But let's talk about the very recent one, that is the Biden administration. Biden administration, just the previous one, it actually continued this trajectory. In what sense? When we see that the Pacific, the USA's strategy about the Pacific Ocean, okay, Indo-Pacific. So India is also part of Indo-Pacific. India is very important for Indo-Pacific. Why USA is very interested in Indo-Pacific? Because there USA doesn't want China to take over things. There are so many disputes going on. South China Sea dispute is going on, and USA is so much interested in that particular region. That's why USA is having such kind of organizations such as Quad, right? India is part of Quad and AUKUS. So these organizations are there for Pacific Ocean, for the Indo-Pacific region only. And the major theme, the main agenda of these organizations are basically to counter China in the region, right? Because USA doesn't want the world to become bipolar. Right now USA wants to retain its position as a unipolar world, a unipolar power in this world again. So USA is cooperating with India when it comes to USA's Pacific Ocean or Indo-Pacific strategy. Other than that, recently in Nepal also, India and USA has this joint project of Millennium Challenges Corporation. And in Sri Lanka also, we know that there was so much economic crisis was going on in Sri Lanka just before Bangladesh. If you read the newspaper, economic crisis was going on. India also helped Sri Lanka. The similar kind of situation which is going on in Bangladesh, it had in Sri Lanka before that. So at that point of time, we also helped Sri Lanka financially, and USA also helped Sri Lanka financially. And Sri Lanka, Nepal, these countries, India, these countries are the South Asian countries. So when it comes to South Asia, the USA strategy is kind of positive, collaborating, and it is mostly focused on the regional stability. So these are the positive aspects, but definitely there are going to be some challenges also. So let's understand what are the areas of divergence when it comes to the India-US or USA's policy towards South Asia. The first is related to the USA's scrutiny to India's stance on Bangladesh and Myanmar, right? When there was crisis going on in Bangladesh, India was actually more oriented towards the Sheikh Hasina government, right? That's why we gave some the asylum of some days to her as well. So at that time also USA actually scrutinized India on that stance, right? USA did not want India to do that. Along with that, the similar case was there in Myanmar. But such kind of scrutiny actually led to the targeted sanctions on these two countries. Whenever, if USA is going to scrutinize a small country in South Asia and India cannot do anything about that, then those countries don't have any other option but to approach China as well. So because of this particular issue, these countries actually were going close to China, and any smaller country in India's neighborhood going towards China, okay, approaching towards China is a kind of challenge for us, okay? It is a kind of challenge. Other than that, US sanction on are dealing with Russia, because we believe that Russia is also India's old friend. Indian Prime Minister also visited Russia also. Russian leader also came to India. So India has good relationship with Russia, but right now, given the Russia-Ukraine war, the West is not looking Russia in a very positive light. That's why USA actually put sanction on Indian firms which were engaging with Russia. It is also a point of contention between these two countries. Other than that, the issues related to the Adani group, because there were allegations of Adani group of certain corruptions and other kind of allegations which did not went good when it comes to our projects, two projects in Sri Lanka. That was also a point of contention. Okay, again, these contentions are the very recent one, right? And these the idea of author to tell you this contention is to making you understand that yes, we are having good relationship, good partnership, strategic partnership with USA, but it is not only about the good relations. There are some points of divergence also here. Sanctions का meaning क्या होता है? Sanctions mean putting hold on to something. For example, if we are dealing we are trading with Russia in a particular product, then USA can put sanction on India that you don't do that. Like USA put sanctions on Iran because Iran's nuclear policy, that Iran is not supposed to make nuclear weapons. If Iran is going to do that, then USA is going to put sanction on that. What is the outcome of sanction? If the USA is going to put sanction on that, then all the countries which are the allies of USA, they are also not going to trade with that particular country, or the USA itself is not going to have that kind of trade which USA used to have earlier. So sanction always is not good for the economy of a country, because you know that the economy of the world is interrelated to each other. It is very intermingled with each other. Even if one country is going to put sanction on another one, it is going to impact the supply chain in general, right? So if supply chain is being disrupted, that is going to impact the other countries also, right? So this is the first part of your article, where why America do this. America do this for many reasons, right? For example, right now the Russia-Ukraine war is going on. Ukraine is being supported by the NATO countries. America is also a part of NATO. Now America and all of the West, they are supporting Ukraine, and Ukraine's fight with Russia means everyone is having that negative approach about Russia also. That's why USA is now going to put sanction on Russia. Okay. Because USA also thinks that USA is a kind of leader in the world. Okay, whatever USA is going to say, the kind of policy USA is going to have towards a nation, it actually can impact a country's international relations also, and its economy also. That's why America do that, because America thinks that given the kind of resources they have, they can impact the economy and the other stability of that particular region. Now, the second paragraph in your article is talking about the pragmatic policy shift when it comes to Trump 2.0. Means now the Donald Trump is going to be here for the second term. Now, how it can it change the policy shift? Policy shift means it is again talking in context of South Asia only. Is Trump 2.0 is going to change the policy which we had earlier in case of Biden's government or not? Let's see that. The first is related to China focus. Look, we all know that Trump's policy, Trump's ki priority kya? What are the priorities of Trump? Trump's prioritization for countering China, it actually can overshadow the concerns about democracy and human rights, right? Earlier also I told you that America's approach towards South Asia depends on two things. The first is regional stability, the second is the value-based system, okay, value-based order. Value-based order means the democracy should run, okay, run its correct course, the human right violation should not be there. Such kind of policy USA have. If a country is doing this, USA is always there to put sanctions or to scrutinize the nation at all. But now with Trump here as in its second inning, Trump's more orientation is about how Trump can counter China, right? So most of his focus is going to be on China, and his focus is going to be less on these human rights and democratic issues, right? And India is the country which is always being scrutinized for violation of human rights and not adhering to democracy properly. So this time, because Trump's vision is Trump is more oriented towards China, that can be a good thing for us, because now we can collaborate more, because again India is also doesn't want China to hover around India's neighborhood, right? So this can be a good thing here, first of all. So this can be a little policy shift. Earlier government that was also focusing on China, but along with that they were more worried about the human rights and democracy in South Asia also. Now the second is the regional leadership. Now India's leadership in South Asia is likely to receive US support with fewer conditions. Before that we had more conditions, okay, more conditions were put on us, only then we could act like a leader in South Asia. But now with Trump this situation can change a bit, because again the same reason, the China focus. The Trump is more focused on China. Now the Trump would need India more than any other country right now. So it can be a little policy shift when it comes to dealing with India right now. Other than that, the policy is related to Afghanistan and Pakistan. Look, in the previous government, okay, and before that also, the Trump's first term, okay, in the first term, Trump actually dealt with Afghanistan and Pakistan separately, okay, because in Afghanistan but right now what is happening? In Afghanistan, the USA is not there. USA has withdrawn from the Afghanistan. Now Taliban is there. Because USA has withdrawn from the Afghanistan, the importance of Pakistan also has reduced. Why? Why Pakistan was important? Pakistan was important because USA needed Pakistan to deal with the terrorism in Afghanistan, right? But right now USA has withdrawn from Afghanistan and now Taliban regime is there. Now again Afghanistan is also not that important for USA, and along with that the Pakistan is also not that important for USA. Yes, you are very much right. It is a negative impact on democracy and human rights for civilians, but it is not like that. It is not that India is not adhering to the democracies. Given the resources, given the kind and the size of our country, we are actually doing good. But the scrutiny by USA is not a positive thing. We as a country, as a sovereign country, can deal with our issue by our own terms. We don't need some other countries to tell us that you should do that and you should not do that. So our image should not be focused on that India as a country is not adhering much to democracy. India at international level need to put itself as a leader. So that is more important for us. Okay, we can deal with our internal issue by our own, but on international level we want to act as a leader. Okay, if you look from the international relations point of view, then this is right. But if you look from a social point of view, then yes, you are right that yes, if USA is not going to focus more on human values and the democracy, then it is not good for society in general. But look from an international relations point of view, what we actually want India to be portrayed as, not a country which is not adhering to democracy. We want to represent ourselves as a country which is kind of a leader in South Asia, right? So you understood that? Now, right now, because again Afghanistan and Pakistan are not even important for USA, so the policy of Afghanistan and Pakistan are not going to impact that much to India in general and South Asia, India in general and South Asia in particular, right? Again, next is about development and capacity building. Now, his limited focus on human rights again and nation building could benefit countries like Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka always had this, USA always scrutinized Sri Lanka given the humanitarian wrongs it has done in the past. Okay, Sri Lanka has done humanitarian wrongs when there was this organization named LITTE. I hope you remember that. So because of the past wrongs, the Sri Lanka is always being scrutinized, right? But if Donald Trump is not going to focus much on the human rights, then Sri Lanka is actually seeking economic recovery and USA can actually help out Sri Lanka. Other than that, Myanmar and Taliban also, they are also going to be potential beneficiary of USA's less scrutiny. Because now Trump 2.0, if Trump is not going to much focus about what is going on in Afghanistan and what is going on in Myanmar, then these countries actually can relax a bit and can look forward for their development and recovery as in general, right? So, don't think that if USA is not going to focus on the human rights, that is a bad thing. A country itself can look on that. A country, a sovereign country doesn't need the scrutiny of other country, okay, to tell that particular country that you are not doing good when it comes to human values, right? Now the article is talking about the China factor, okay, how the China factor is going to create a regional dynamic. We all know that Trump's confrontational approach towards China is going to increase pressure on South Asian countries, right? How? South Asian countries are going to face less tolerant for balancing between global power, okay? Because now the balance was better. In the time of Joe Biden, the balance between USA and China was better, but right now with Trump's approach, this balance can be a distorted balance and it can actually affect us, right? So that was the thing. Again, what are the global implications? Now, Trump itself has told the world that it is going to mediate peace between Russia and Ukraine, and Trump has also told the world that it is going to he is going to try to resolve the dispute in West Asia. It was the Israel and Palestine issue. If these two issues are going to be eliminated on the world map, then it is very good for the world in general. So, right, how it is going to benefit South Asia, because whenever there is a war going on, even if it is in South Asia or it is in Central Asia or in the Eastern Europe, that actually interrupts the supply chain of goods and services. So, interruption in the supply chain of goods and services is not beneficial for South Asia in general. So, this can actually help us. So, food and fuel prices can actually stabilize because there will be less sanctions in this world. Okay, so the kind of, you know that Ukraine is very famous for wheat production, right? So that kind of supply is being disrupted right now. But if there is no war, there is a peace in that region, then that supply is not going to get affected, and all the countries, most of the countries of the world are going to benefit from it, and along with the South Asia is also going to benefit from it. Now, so again, what can we conclude from this particular article? The conclusion is same, that Trump's presidency will likely to bring continuity in US engagement with South Asia, particularly in its partnership with India. However, this leadership style and his foreign policy approach can introduce both opportunities again as well as challenges. Again, this article mostly talked about the opportunity. It was less critical in nature, that how we can benefit from, how we in general and in particular and South Asia in general can benefit from the second inning of Donald Trump. Okay, so this was all about this article. Okay, now let's come to our second article. So this second article is about, let's understand the context here. So he is the Justice Shekhar Yadav of Allahabad High Court, right? So recently there was a event organized by Vishwa Hindu Parishad. In this organization, he actually gave a speech. Under his speech, he actually said that India would function as per the wishes of majority, which is not as per the constitutional value. Which value? Secularism. It is not as per the secularism. Why India would function as per the wishes of majority? Everyone, each and everyone, even if someone is single from a particular community, his say is also important, his development is also important for a country, because he is also citizen of India. So such kind of lines. Along with that, these were not the only lines he said. He said that he also criticized the practices within Muslim community. He criticized triple talaq, he criticized the issues related to halala, he criticized many things. Okay, and he actually glorified the Hindu symbols or the majority symbol in that particular speech. Though the speech was organized by Vishwa Hindu Parishad, maybe given the reputation of Vishwa Hindu Parishad, he actually said all these words, but being a judge of a High Court of India, it was not acceptable for the society to have such kind of discussion from the mouth of a judge of a High Court, right? So this is the context of this particular article, that in an official event, Justice Shekhar Kumar Yadav of the Allahabad High Court has delivered a speech and openly contradicted the spirit and principle enshrined in the constitution. Basically, it is talking about the secularism. Now, after his speech, his remarks actually have sparked widespread outrage, even the calls of impeachment in Rajya Sabha only, that he should be impeached. There was a demand of accountability, how a person which is actually representing High Court of India can say such kind of things, can say something that is totally contradictory to the constitution, and how he can underscore the gravity of this constitutional breach, right? Now, this is the context of this particular news, that there were few words which were not as per the principle that are enshrined in our constitution. So that's why his remarks actually sparked outrage among the society, civil society in general. So people are talking about in parliament also, the journalists are also talking about, and the citizen in general is talking about that. Now, what else? So now the author is saying that why we need to address such kind of incidents, right? Why would we need to do that? We could have said nothing. We could say that, okay, but if he is a judge of high court and he has said such kind of things, we have seen many a times the politicians are also going to politicians also gave the similar kind of remarks. Again, we criticize those politicians also, but now it was not only about the politician, because the politicians sometimes to gain vote can give such kind of remarks. But here, what was the interest of the judge of high court, why he was having such kind of remark, and we as a citizen, why we need to address such kind of incidents. Now author is saying that obviously this speech inflicted profound harm, it promote bigotry and undermine the shared space of coexistence. India as a country is a remarkable example of coexistence since the ancient time. India, whoever came to India, that actually the culture merged in India. The identity of India as a whole is not identity of the majority population. That identity is also a mix of the culture of all the people who are residing in India. So India is a perfect example of coexistence. But such kind of remarks, such kind of speech actually inflict the harm of the peace we are having right now in India, and it also promote bigotry. Bigotry, what is the meaning of it? It means that you are only focusing on your own thinking. Okay, someone is only focusing on their own thinking, their own faith. For example, someone has a faith A. Then if someone is thinking that only this faith is right and any other faith or any other thinking is wrong, so that is known as bigotry. Again, bigotry in general word you can also use, but it can be used as a religious bigotry also. So such kind of bigotry actually trigger a violence. We have seen historically, okay, we have seen so many riots between Hindus and Muslims in the past also. So religious bigotry also always inflict harm to the society. Okay, it threatens to destabilize community also. It actually promotes insecurity in the heart and the mind of minority also, right? Now, so this is why we need to address such kind of incidents, कि हमें ऐसे incidents की बात ही क्यों नहीं करनी चाहिए. So these are the reasons. The second, should there be any kind of judicial accountability? Because he was a judge of Allahabad High Court, but right now the Allahabad High Court is silent and he is not condemning Justice Yadav's remark, right? This is again, it means the judicial accountability is not there. So the incidents demand a response. What kind of response? Impeachment, while a significant step, is likely to succeed without bipartisan politics. Look, even if we are talking about the impeachment, but what if in Rajya Sabha they can talk about the impeachment, but the same issue will go to the Lok Sabha. We all know that Lok Sabha, the kind of politics we have, bipartisan politics we have, it is very highly unlikely that the impeachment motion is going to be passed. So it is not going to be there. So now it was the responsibility of judiciary to address this issue. Yes, up in parliament there are few voices which are actually against these remarks and the impeachment motion. They are talking about impeachment also, but that impeachment we all know that is not going to be, that motion is not going to be passed given the conditions of politics in India right now. But the judiciary, especially the Allahabad High Court, could have come forward and condemned the remarks of Justice Yadav. But the Allahabad High Court hasn't done it yet. Other than that, the article is also talking about the constitution as a shared common. We all know that constitution is not the exclusive property of the judiciary or political elites. It means why we are only looking at the politicians and the Allahabad High Court to criticize these remarks. Okay, constitution is a shared common, constitution is for all. We as a citizen of India can also do that. So it is a shared common belonging to all citizens and rooted in India's intellectual histories and evolving aspiration. So it is not only the accountability, it is this such kind of accountability is not only lie with the parliament or the judiciary, it lies with the people of India as well. Then what people can do? People can have resistance through civil disobedience. No, the kind of disobedience we taught from the Gandhiji. Whenever something wrong was going on with the British government, the Gandhiji was there with his civil disobedience movement to have a peaceful protest and to reclaim the constitutional value, right? This how the people of India can react to this situation. This is being talked by the article only. Now, so what kind of response can be there? Okay, what kind of response we can have? Again, we need to reinforce the ethical compass guiding judicial conduct, right? कि हमें जो judicial conduct है उसका जो ethical compass है, ठीक है, we need to understand that first. Other than that, we need to uphold the spirit of we the people. We the people, where do you read these three words? We the people of India. It is a very much part of our preamble, right? So preamble, it means what is written in the preamble. We the people of India are giving this constitution to the citizen of India. So the people are the representative of the constitution as well. Constitution is not only attached to the people who are in parliament or who are there sitting as a judge in Supreme Court or High Court or the other divisions. So constitution is very much, we also own the constitution in the similar way, right? So we is not confined to any one group or faith. So we who are going to be the part of we, this is not only the majority who are the part of we, right? So minority is also part of that, right? Children are also part of that, women are also part of that. Anyone who are being discriminated on one basis or another, they are also the part of this we the people of India. So the article is talking about that. Now in conclusion, the author is saying that this speech is a wake-up call for citizen. For citizen, it means for us, citizen, all citizens, majority as well as minority, judiciary and the elected representatives, to unite in defense of the constitution, right? We need to defend our constitution, but such kind of remarks are kind of against constitution. It not only against the minorities or a particular community. Such kind of remarks are against the constitutional value. Now it is the duty of people of India, it is the duty of judiciary, it is the duty of elected representative to come in defense of constitution here. So this is the conclusion. By rejecting this such kind of bigotry or embracing civil disobedience and demanding accountability, India can uphold foundational principle of justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. This is what is being talked by this particular article. So what is the crux of the article? The crux of the article is that such kind of remarks, we actually hear such kind of remarks one way or another way in our society. Sometimes from the mouth of politicians, sometimes from the mouth of the religious leaders, and sometimes from the mouth, right now we can see that from the mouth of the judges of the High Court also. So what is the responsibility of us here? Us, not only us, means what is the responsibility of people, what is the responsibility of elected representative, what is the responsibility of judiciary, because all these three constitute the part we, WEV. So here the author is talking about we need not to ignore such kind of remark. We need to act upon that in a very efficient manner, right? So this was all about this article. Now what is the meaning of promoting bigotry? It is a negative term, okay? We are promoting it. Bigotry, you know that you are adhering to your own principle. You think that only your faith, your opinion, your values are the one which is the right one, the other is not the right one. So this is not it. This is not a society can live together. If we have this idea of coexistence, given the diversity of India, we cannot have any kind of bigotry, especially the religious bigotry in our country. So we need to reject it. We need not to promote it. But such kind of remarks promote such kind of bigotry, right? So let's come to our next news, very small news but very interesting one and important from UPSC's point of view. Right, so what is the news? Now the government has consistently increased its expenditure on infrastructure building. It means it is talking about the capital expenditure. What is the short form of capex? Capital expenditure. Right. Now, before that, our in 2021-22, our expenditure was just 5 lakh crore rupees. Now, in 5 years, it has reached to 11.11 lakh crore in 2024-25. So, it has increased more than. So, we can see that there is an increment of kind of 6 lakh crores of increment, which is a good for the economy. Why it is good? I hope you know that what is the meaning of capital expenditure. You know that when there is a budget, we had two parts. First of all, we need to know what is our revenue and we need to know what is our expenditure, right? This is how we make budget. Even if you are making a very small budget, you are going on a trip, right? Not trip, for example, you are managing your household. So in a household also, you know that what is my income, what is my revenue and what is my expenditure. On the basis of this only you can manage your expenditure, or if you want to do some kind of saving. So these are the basic things which we need to manage a budget. In revenue, we have two kinds of revenue and similarly we have two kinds of expenditure. One is revenue and another one is capital expenditure. Same here also, the kind of revenue we are getting. We are only talking about the expenditure. So what is the difference in revenue expenditure and capital expenditure? Revenue expenditure means the day-to-day expenditure of the government, right? So day-to-day expenditure is not going to create a big asset for a economy. But the capital expenditure is something, it means where we are investing on the big plans, which is actually good for the economy in general, because it is going to create some kind of capital. Capital expenditure, by name only you can understand the capital. It is going to generate some capital. What kind of capital? Let's see. Here we are talking about infrastructure building. For example, we are having rail, roadways, airports. If we are making, that is known as capital expenditure. But if we are providing subsidy, that will go into revenue expenditure. So which kind of expenditure is good for economy? Obviously we need to have revenue expenditure, but capital expenditure is going to create a capital. So its impact on an economy is more profound as compared to the revenue expenditure. How? For example, there is a village and we are giving that village some kind of agriculture subsidy, okay, and we are giving that subsidy. You can say that we are spending 10 crore rupees in subsidy in that particular village. Okay, let's say that. Now in the same budget we can actually make a road towards that particular village. So there are two kinds of expenditure, giving direct subsidy, and the second is we are creating a asset. We are creating a capital asset. It means we are making a road which is leading towards that particular village. Now how these two kind of expenditure are going to impact that village? The revenue expenditure, the kind of subsidy they are getting, it is good, okay, but it is going to impact them in a very narrow approach. But that road which is leading towards that village is going to impact the village in a multifold level. How? The farmer can easily get access to the mandis, okay, where he can sell his produce. The children of that village can go to the nearby villages or nearby cities for higher education, right? The women empowerment can have, for example, if there is only a school till primary level in the village, and the women, the girls of that village cannot go outside or the other village because there was no access to road. But now if there is a road, they can also go outside the village, right? Okay, so that is the thing. So capital expenditure also create assets in the economy, but the revenue expenditure doesn't create any kind of asset or capital there. Now, okay, मैम डिफेंस एक्सपेंडिचर बिलोंग टू विच कैटेगरी ऑफ रिवेन्यू? ऑब्वियसली रिवेन्यू में जाएगा. उससे क्या कैपिटल क्या क्रिएट हो रहा है? वेन एवर यू आर कंफ्यूज्ड अबाउट कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर एंड रिवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर, यू जस्ट थिंक if this expenditure is going to create any capital, the answer is no, it means that is not a capital expenditure, right? I hope you understood this article. Now there are two aspects to article. First, you need to understand what is the difference between revenue expenditure and capital expenditure, and the second aspect of this news is that the center is consistently increasing the capex of capital expenditure, right? It means in last 5 years we are increasing it. Sometimes UPSC has such kind of trend. UPSC can actually give you this line only: the government capital expenditure is increasing from last 5 years. So this statement is going to be correct. If the government is going to, if the statement is like that, the government capital expenditure is decreasing from last 5 years, it means that that particular statement is a wrong statement. So this is the significance of this particular news. Okay, so this was all about today's the Hindu analysis. I hope you understood all the 3 articles. There was not much in the newspaper, but all these 3 news you need to understand. This one is more about the basics of economics and one important trend in the economics, and the other 2 were about the understanding of one is related to understanding of international affairs, how the regime of Trump 2.0 is going to affect us, and another one is related to the how we can actually give response to such kind of remarks which are against the constitution of our India. Okay, so thank you so much, have a nice day.